that time he gave me such an experience of some mystic experience of love. It was so amazing. Every pore of mine was crying and screaming out of love, because I never felt such a love for such a long time. Like half an hour, I was in that ecstasy. I was exploding. Every fiber of my being was just exploding. And I couldn't see people as a people. I saw them as a field of light. And that light was dancing, that it was a purple, gold, pink. That was so beautiful. And I saw that I'm part of that light, and we are all one. There's no separation, you, me. I was completely drunk of that love.
Jai Gurudev, everybody. Today I'm here with Sati Casanova from Russia. Thank you.
Jai Gurudev, everybody.
Thank you for taking the time for the interview.
My pleasure.
So we are here in Sri Pittanilaya in German ashram of Paramahamsa Vishwananda for the Just Love Festival, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to ask Sati if you're ready for an interview, because I think you have an interesting story. So my question is, how did you get on the spiritual path? Like, you are being a famous Russian singer, you're coming from a Muslim background, and
all of a sudden
you are now on a Hindu path, following a spiritual master, Paramahamsa Vishwananda.
Yes.
Like, maybe tell a little bit, how did you get there?
You know, that started probably about 13 years ago, 15, 13, when little by little I started to be interested with that. And my family was thinking I'm cuckoo, because I was really open for going to Orthodox church, because in Russia it's mostly Orthodox country. I was interested with the Buddhism culture or Indian. I didn't know that there's
different paths,
yes. I didn't know. Just like, let's call it Hindu, and I had that sympathy, let's say, to that culture. And my parents, my family was thinking like I'm cuckoo, but they didn't take it seriously. And when I was about 38, my life started to ruin. You know, like I found myself in a very deep depression, because everything I had that moment, like fame, name, admirers, money, this, that, it couldn't make me happy. And I was like, wow, I was struggling for that. I was doing everything possible for that. And now I haven't. Yes. Now I haven't. I'm not happy. I'm waking up so with an empty heart, in that. I was even thinking about some suicide things. No, not like to kill myself, but I was like,
what's the point of this life?
Yeah, that's kind of, I don't want to live. Like, what's the point? There is no point, there is no meaning. And later, years after, once Guruji said that before you met Master, he ruined your life just to show you that what you had before, it's not that
what you're really looking for.
Yes, exactly. So I'm so happy that I found myself in that point, like I have nothing, like not because of I've lost, like, I mean, actually, but the inside, I was so frustrated, and intuitively I just started to pray to God, like, please help me, please show me the way, or just take me from this planet, life, whatever. And I was starting to look and read some books and searching in internet about Shambhala, teachers, masters, and I had the feeling that I need master who will help me to find that answers. Who I am, why am I living, what is the point and the goal of life, and so on. That that it's quite philosophical questions, and I knew that I would not be able to find it by myself, and I was reading one book, and there was the phrase like, when the disciple is ready, Guru is ready for him. And I started to cry like, I'm ready, where is my Guru? And I knew that it should be Guru, not just coacher, mentor, or all these fancy things nowadays. It's very fashionable, yeah. And like Tony Robbins, we know, I respect that guy, but I mean, it's different thing. Guru is Guru, coachers are coachers. And I knew that it should be Guru. And I knew that it should be from that culture, that Hindu culture. And I was really like, I'm gonna go to India to meet my Guru. That was the end of 2011. In the end of 2011, when I was planning to go to India, I met Marina Misbach. So now she's my sister-in-law after years. And we had very, fancy dinner about the diamonds, this, that, in Moscow, all those dresses, and nothing about spirituality, you can imagine. And I remember she was not eating meat and all those things. I wasn't vegetarian that time. I wasn't eating meat, but I was eating fish or something like that. And I asked her why. She said, I know, I believe that. So I followed that belief that we shouldn't eat meat. And then we just started talk. And I said, I want to go to India to learn more about that culture. And it was like, maybe to meet my Guru. She said, the interesting thing, I met my Guru in Italy.
She said.
Yeah, she said, yeah, who's belonged to that Hindu culture. I was like, wow, interesting. And then she gave me a small picture, the card, and she said, just keep it. And whenever you feel emptiness, you lost, or something you want to ask, just look at him, meditate on him, and ask him. I was like, strange. But he was so beautiful, that man on that picture. I put it in my, how you call it? Portemonnaie, yeah. It's like, okay. So after months or more, I went to India. I didn't find my Guru, of course, but I had some insights, because I found by chance the temple of Shirdi Sai Baba, which I discovered years after that he's one of the most favorite and beloved saints of our Gurudev. Shirdi Sai Baba. And what is interesting, he was protecting and helping both Hindu and Muslim.
So and the connection.
Yeah. There was an amazing moment in that temple of Shirdi Sai. There was a wall, and under the wall there were all those lamps, the kind of candles, candies. Yeah. Not candies, candles, yeah. And on
lamps.
Yes, oil lamps. And on the wall there were pictures. So there were pictures of Krishna, Jesus, and Kaaba in Mecca, like the most sacred pilgrimage place of Muslim people. And I couldn't believe, like, wow, all these three such a different, opposite things are in one place. And I started to cry, like, yes, that's what I was looking for. I'm not cuckoo, I'm not crazy. Yes, this unity exists. And I was so happy, and even took all these pictures, like, I have to read more about the Shirdi Sai. And I came back to Moscow. I forgot about Shirdi Sai. I came back to my crazy life. And after 2 months, Marina called me, don't you want to come to Darshan? I said, what is that? She sent me one link. She said, have a look, and if you will feel connection or desire to come, just come. I started to watch the video, and I remember my feeling. The Guruji was sitting and giving darshan, one by one people were coming, and there was beautiful Gurudev, Mere Gurudev, that beautiful song. And I started to cry and feeling that, like, my mom, like, he's like mom. Oh no, he's like father. No, he's like beloved. And all these colors and feelings are, like, changed each other. They were like a diamond with all those
facets.
Yes.
Sparkling.
Yes, exactly. And I understood, yes, I have to go. So I went to ashram, the first meeting, first darshan. It wasn't something extraordinary. And I remember I was looking for his attention, but he didn't give me. He didn't give me. And I understand why. And the second meeting was in Russia, a few months after he came to Russia in 2012. I remember that darshan very well because that time he gave me such an experience of some mystic experience of love. It was so amazing. Every pore of mine was crying and screaming out of love because I never felt such a love for such a long time. Like half an hour, I was in that ecstasy. I was exploding. Every fiber of my being was just exploding. And I couldn't see people as a people. I saw them as a field of light. And that light was dancing, that it was a purple, gold, pink. It was so beautiful. And I saw that I'm part of that light and we are all one. There's no separation, you, me. I was completely drunk of that love. And finally, when it was my turn to have a darshan, he gave me darshan, Gurudev, and then he looked at me and said, "Do you want to ask me something?" I was drunk. He's like, "Huh?" I said, "You want to ask me something?" I said, "No, just love." I didn't know about this just love slogan, yeah. And he laughed on me and he said, "Stay after darshan, I want to talk to you." I said, "Huh?" He said, "Can you stay, please? I want to talk." I said, okay." I was completely done. So he spoke to me and I asked many stupid questions and he was so passionate. He was so full of love and compassion. And he materialized beautiful Lakshmi for me. And I asked, "Who is that?" He said, "Your Ishtadev." I said, "But who is that?" "Lakshmi." He was like, Lakshmi. He was like, so after that, some weeks after, I fell down. You know, after
the high.
He put me so high, and I didn't know how to keep myself there, and I just fell down so badly, and that was so horrible, even worse than ever. And I was thinking, oh, that is because of that Swami Vishwananda. No, I will never go to that. And I put Lakshmi somewhere far from, like just, I had respect, I just put it far. And I was like, no. And I remember Marina was texting me, "Where are you?" Some months after, Guruji was asking me about you. I was like, no. I said, "I'm fine, I'm very busy. Maybe one day, someday, somehow, I will come." And there was a moment, on that darshan actually, on that amazing darshan, I met one girl who became my coacher afterwards, life or business coach whatsoever. Okay. And she was practicing Atma Kriya Yoga. She wasn't as a devotee, but she was practicing Atma Kriya Yoga. She was, let's say, follower of Paramahamsa Vishwananda at that time. And I remember she gave me a lot, actually. She was coaching me, training me about the mind, about the ethic, how to think, how to act. And I had so much rubbish in my mind, and she helped me to see that, to clean it, yeah. And once she said, today I was doing Kriya, my Atma Kriya, and I asked about you in my meditation, and I got an answer about you in my meditation. I was like, why somebody should ask about me in the meditation and get an answer, but not myself? I became a bit angry. Like I said, can I have that Atma Kriya also? I need that.
I also want to ask.
Yes, I want to ask and I want to have my answers. She said, yeah. She said, yeah, actually you need it. It's amazing. I know it's such a practice. And she just said, it's such a practice which open your intuition, your best qualities, siddhis. She was interested with that. And I was also interested with that time. That was my motivation, to have a siddhis, the powers, all this
mystical thing.
Yes. I was really excited about that. So she organized the course. There were like 5 of us. There was Radha Das who gave us Kriya. 2 days after Shaktipat, I found myself crying, longing like crazy for Paramahamsa Vishwananda. That's a miracle, but that Shaktipat itself, which means the installing that the scent of grace, that grace immediately awake. Immediately started to remind me, you stupid, that he's your guru, run to him, beg for his forgiveness and acceptance. And I took a flight. It was about 20-something of December, and I came. I remember there were a lot of people because of Christmas. I didn't even know that they celebrate Christmas or whatever. I came, and I was crying. I couldn't look at him. That feeling that I'm not worth, I'm not good enough, or that I couldn't even look at him. And Radha Das helped me. He said, "You just go and ask, and that's it. And even if he will say no,
you have done your part.
Yes, you did your best. Yes." And I was sitting and crying, and I was looking at Babaji's picture, and I felt Babaji told me inside, just go and ask. Don't be afraid. I'm with you. I felt that courage, and I just run, and immediately I met Guruji somewhere in the hall, in the vestibule of ashram, and I just bowed down and I said, "Can you please accept me as your disciple?" Because my English was quite bad, and it's still not that good. But anyway, I just wrote down. Radha Das helped me.
The
sentence was like in my phone. "Can you please accept me as your disciple?" He laughed and said, "Yes." I was like, "Just like that?" and I ran after him. Will you give me a name, spiritual name? He said, "What is your name?" I said, "Sati." He said, "That's a good name for you." And that is so amazing, because the 12 years before I met my guru, I changed my name from Satanye, which was my original name, because I had to cut it because for artist, and also it was sound like Satain for Russian Orthodox people. They were doing like that every time I was introducing myself. They would like, "Oh, like this." I was tired to explain that it's not a bad name, it has a beautiful meaning and so on. So finally I changed it and I became Sati. And I didn't know anything about Shiva, about Adi Shakti and all those things, which I discovered after. And when I met my guru, when he said Sati is good for you, and then I was like, wow, 12 years before he was guiding me not only 12 years before. Once I asked him, "Since when you guiding me?" "From the beginning of the very beginning," he said.